If I told you the 2020 election wasn't about Trump versus Biden? What if the election represents something much larger? Something bigger than just Democrat versus Republican? Something causing our country to dramatically change, that we will never go back to the way things were before? This is what we're going to explore today. Where do we go from here? How do we overcome, adapt, and thrive in a time of COVID? How do we look beyond the chaos that's occurring today to gain confidence in the future? I'm Andy Bush, and my job right now is to answer these questions for you. In this short video, we're going to answer where do we go from here and explore. Can anyone forget the election night of 2016? I know I'll never forget it. The outcome stunned many, including myself, and it taught us all to prepare for every outcome, no matter how improbable. But with this election, there's something larger at stake. And to get to that, we're going to first take an objective look at the U.S. election and the potential outcomes. We'll cover what the policies are for the candidates and where the polling stands now for both the presidential race and the control of the Senate. You know, I've had a front row seat to the U.S. elections and their impact on the economy since the election of Ronald Reagan. And one of the biggest lessons I've learned over 40 years, boy, it's really tough to beat a sitting president. There has to be either like a third-party candidate like Ross Perot, or there has to be a crisis like the Iranian hostage situation for a sitting president to lose. And the economy? Well, the economy is always the most important topic for voters. This is why 2020 is creating a wide range of potential outcomes for both the White House and Congress and the Senate. Yes, President Trump is the sitting president and had a strong economy to run on heading into 2020, and he would have likely won re-election. But the virus changed it and created both a healthcare and economic crisis. The economy was shut down, unemployment soared, and social protests occur. All of this provided an opportunity for the challenger, Joe Biden. So let's take a brief look at his major policy plans. On the economy and jobs, you'll see Biden has big spending plans and major tax increases to pay for them. Biden policies focus on social issues like healthcare, affordable housing, and environment to provide economic growth. Here's the details on the tax plans, and I'm not going to run through all of them. By the way, we have more detailed research on andrewbush.com, and it's all for free. You can check it out there. But reversing some of the signature Trump tax cuts is central to Biden's plans, as it provides the funding for all of the spending he wants to do. But there's lots more, as you can see. Besides taxes, energy and the environment is where Biden differs the most with Trump. And Biden has a major spend on climate right here. By the way, when he was first running, he did say he would ban fracking. Now, he has since reversed that stance. But, you know, legally, you can't really ban it anyway. But you can make it almost impossible for a fracking or E&P firm to get a lease on government property to frack, and it has basically the same impact. Okay, over to trade. Trade is a close second on the chasm between Biden and Trump policies. Biden includes carbon mitigation for new trade deals, and that will make it very difficult to achieve any deal, especially with countries like China and India. Also, Biden has a small tax credit for reshoring manufacturing jobs. All right, let's get over to Trump. Here's his plans for the economy and jobs. As you can see, they're a bit vaguer than Biden's, but the direction remains consistent from his first term. And tax policy is where his plans differ the most from Biden, as Trump continues to look to cut taxes and focus on private sector incentives. Now, energy and the environment is another policy area with big differences between the candidates. Trump will continue his deregulatory push to encourage domestic production of hydrocarbons and energy. All right, lastly, on trade, Trump's focus remains squarely on China, but also more private sector incentives for pharma and robotics. Wrapping this up, there are major differences on taxes, the environment, on trade between Trump and Biden. Let's take a quick look at the polls, and then we'll get to the change I mentioned at the beginning of the show. 2 points on polls really quick. First, 2016, very few had it correct, but Trump was within the margin of error for Pennsylvania, Ohio, Michigan, and Wisconsin. He also took Florida, and that's what got him to the finish line. Now, second, 2020 has been amazing in that this race hasn't changed much over the last 6 months. Biden has held a 3 to 9 percentage national point lead the entire time, and that's outside the margin of error for the polls. Now, right now, in the general election poll, we see a substantial margin for Biden, and he would likely win the popular vote. But as you know, that's not how we do it in the U.S. We go state by state for a winner-takes-all of their electoral votes, and you need to get to 270. So we're going to focus on key swing states with big electoral votes that go back and forth on who they support, or what we call toss-ups. All right, super quick, here's where those states stand right now. At this point, Biden looks really strong, but typically polls narrow heading into Election Day. But this is not a typical election, as many voters have already voted with mail-in ballots, right? And this is another potential problem with calling 2020. 31 states have changed the way the election works this year, and New York had massive problems already during their primary. Now, we've never had this many mail-in ballots requested, and I'm not sure the states can handle the volumes. Well, that's right. States set the terms of the election process, not the federal government. So it's highly unlikely and doubtful we'll know the outcome of the presidential election on Election Day, November 3rd. Nor will we know the outcome of the Senate races. Pay attention here because this is going to drive the big change I talked about. Currently, the Senate is 53 to 47 with Republicans controlling the Senate. Now, there are 35 seats up for re-election, and Democrats need a net 3 to turn Democrat with a Biden victory to control the Senate. I have 3 going that way: Arizona, Colorado, and Maine. But Alabama is going to turn from Democrat to Republican for sure. And that means Democrats actually need 4 seats to change. So how are they going to do it? Here are some of the crucial Senate races for the Democrats to win to take back the Senate. And if there is a blue wave with Biden winning and the Senate going Democrat, then we will have the conditions for the largest change in government in our lifetimes. Why? Because it's highly likely a Democratic Senate will vote to do away with the 60-vote filibuster rule, and that means majority rule for all legislation and confirmations. This is a major change in the way that the Senate votes. This new unified Democrat Congress with a Democrat in the White House will equal a parliament like Canada or the UK, where you can do whatever policy you want until the next election. Taxes, environment, affordable housing will all have the potential to change and change dramatically and change quickly. This new government structure will lead to large swings in policy, as you can vote out the old laws and enact new ones, including changing the number of Supreme Court justices. But it can also lead to groupthink or solely partisan actions without taking into consideration the opposition. And diversity of opinion is crucial for making the best informed decisions on the direction for the country. So this election is much more important than just Democrat versus Republican or Trump versus Biden. It will signal a change towards larger shifts in policy should the opposition take control of government. Change for great opportunities to get things done for sure, but also change for great danger to make policy mistakes. So be careful what you wish for, as you may find yourself on the outside looking in the minority in the future. All right, next week we'll answer the question, where do we go from here for real estate? If you want to get these videos every week, click on the subscribe button. If you like this show, click on the next video and I'll see you in it. You can get all my research at andrewbush.com. I'm Andy Bush. Thanks for watching.